Hello again and welcome back to the channel. This is Michael from TOEFLresources.com, and in today's video I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the new TOEFL speaking section. This video has been updated for October 2019, so it has all of the latest information. Yes, I did make a similar video last month, but I have extensively updated my information, so I hope you will stick around and watch the whole thing. All right, with that said, in today's video, we're going to start by talking about question types. There's 4 question types in the speaking section of the TOEFL. I'm going to tell you about all of them. I'm going to give you a few basic strategies on how to answer these questions really well. I'm going to talk about the results of a survey of about 600 students who have taken the test and what they told me. I'm going to talk about some changes to the way your score is reported, and at the very end, I'm going to talk about some big changes to how your score is actually determined in the first place. So this last part is a very big change that has not been reported very much, and I don't even think ETS mentions it on their website, so I hope you'll stick around all the way to the end to get this information. All right, first of all, TOEFL speaking question 1. This is called the personal choice question. Now, it's not so easy that you can just say, okay, it's the personal choice question, I get it. Because there are 3 main styles that ETS uses when they're designing this question. Now, I did a survey, as I said, of about 600 students who took the test in August and September. And this is what they told me about question 1. 55% of them said they got an agree-disagree style question here. Now that looks a little bit like this. Do you agree or disagree with the following statement? Parents can learn a lot from their children. Okay, so that's the most common style. Now, 33% of the students said they got a paired choice question. Looks like this. Some people like to shop at stores that sell many kinds of products. Others like to go to stores that specialize in one type of product. Which do you prefer? That's the second most common. But finally, 13% got what I call a good idea question. And this style is a little bit newer and it's a little bit rare, but it looks like this. A university is planning to shut down its computer labs because most students have their own laptops. Do you think this is a good idea? Now, at the end of each question, it's going to say the same thing, right? Use specific reasons and details to support your choice or to support your answer. Now, it seems like these 3 styles are the only styles that ETS is using these days. Those of you who have watched all my videos will remember some older styles like the advantages, disadvantages style, or the giving advice style, or even like the multiple choice style. Now, it seems like those old styles have been eliminated from the test. Nobody seems to have gotten them on the new version yet. Now, I will put a link down to the old video which describes them, and you should probably check it out just in case, but it seems to me that ETS is only using these 3 main styles right now. However, if you get something different, I want you to rush down to the comments section and I want you to tell me all about it so I can make a new video and share the news with the world. All right, how do you answer this question? Well, I will put a link down to my video which has a detailed description and a detailed template, and where I talk for 20 minutes about how to answer this question. But some basic strategies are on your screen now. First of all, start by stating your opinion, right? Try something like, I agree with the idea that, or personally, I prefer, or I think it's a good idea to, and that's how you're going to begin the answer. After that, continue with a transition, something like, I feel very strongly about this. After that, state 2 reasons in support of your opinion. Try to include a very short personal example within one of those reasons. Now, if you're a bit of a slow speaker, 1 reason is fine. Yes, I think you might get a slightly lower score if you give just 1 reason, but I think it's okay for some of you. Finally, don't worry about a conclusion for this answer. It's a waste of time. All right, question 2 in the speaking section is called the campus situation question. Goes like this. You're going to get a reading passage on the screen. It's between 80 and 110 words. It's going to describe a change or a proposed change related to some campus policy or facility. Like there might be some change to do with like the library or the bike rental system or the bus that gets students to the university. You're going to have about 45 or 50 seconds to read it. After that, it goes away and you have to listen to a recording. It's about a minute long. That recording is a conversation between 2 students, and one of them expresses an opinion about that proposed change. That student is going to agree or disagree or maybe have a mixed opinion about the change. Your job in the answer is to state what that change is and the speaker's opinion. You have 30 seconds to prepare and 1 minute to speak. Now, the mixed opinion thing, it's a little bit more rare, but it seems like it's come up about 15% of the time since the new TOEFL was introduced. Some basic strategies for answering this one. Start by stating what the change is very, very briefly. Continue by stating the 2 reasons for the change, which are in the reading. Do that in just 1 sentence. After that, state the speaker's opinion of the change, whether they support it, oppose it, or have a mixed opinion on it, using just 1 sentence. And then the bulk of your answer. One at a time, you have to state how the speaker feels about each of the 2 reasons for the change. You should include as many details as possible. Basically, all of the details from that conversation are probably relevant. This part should make up about 40 seconds of your answer. That's question 2. Let's talk about speaking question 3. This one's sometimes called the general to specific question. Goes like this. First of all, you get a reading passage on the screen, maybe about 100 words. It's going to describe a term, a process, or some idea related to an academic subject. You're going to have 45 or 50 seconds to read it. After that, the reading disappears and you listen to a lecture, about a minute or a minute and a half. That gives an example or maybe 2 examples which illustrate that term, process, or idea. Your job in your answer is to define what that term is and how the example illustrates it. You have 30 seconds to prepare your answer and a minute to speak. Now, I did do a survey of 286 people in August, and they told me that the topic in this question was most often about biology or animals. 58% of the students said they got one of those. The second most common topic was psychology and learning, which was about 20%. Meanwhile, 16% said they got something related to business or marketing. Now, you could get something else entirely. You could get something like urban design, I think might have come up a little bit in the past. But the most common topic by far, biology and animals. Keep that in mind. A few basic strategies about answering this question. First up, start by stating what the term is and say something like the reading is about such and such, which is defined as such and such. To get this line in, the title of the article is very helpful. Next, Continue by stating what you think is the most important detail from the reading in one sentence. So, one of the challenges students have is that they don't have a lot of time to summarize the reading. You really want to get that done in like 10 or 15 seconds. So you're going to have to use your critical thinking skills to kind of pluck out the most important reading detail. After that, one at a time, describe the examples from the lecture and give some linking details from the reading if possible. This should make up about 40 seconds of your answer. Again, if you need more help answering this question, check the video description down below. I'll link to my longer video, which goes into these strategies in more detail. Lastly, speaking question 4, which is usually called the academic lecture question. First up, you listen to a lecture between 90 and 120 seconds. Once again, this is explaining a term or a concept, and it's giving an example or 2 examples to illustrate it. Your job is to define the term or concept and talk about how the examples from the lecture illustrate it. You have 20 seconds to prepare and 60 seconds to speak. Again, I did a survey of about 241 students in August, and they said that their lectures were most often, once again, about biology and animals. 51% of the students said they got that. 22% said they were about psychology and learning. 16% said it was about business and marketing. And then 12% kind of gave me the broad category of history or literature and art. Again, you're not guaranteed to get one of those topics, but it seems likely. A few general strategies for answering this question. This time, I want you to pay a bit more attention to the question prompt itself. It is a bit more important than usual. Next, I want you to start by very quickly describing the term or the idea. Use 1 or 2 sentences to do this. And make it very, very quick, about 15 seconds at the most. And then for the rest of your answer, which is going to be 45 seconds, focus on the examples from the lecture. I want you to repeat what those examples are, and at the end of each example, connect them to what the prompt has specifically asked you to discuss. Now, this last part is important because in the question 2 and 3, the prompt is a bit more generic. Like ETS can kind of use the same prompt week after week. But in question 4, they're making a more specific prompt, which relates more specifically to the content of the lecture. Again, if you want more detailed help, check out the link down below and you can get a 20-minute video of me just talking about question 4. All right, that's all I have to say about the 4 TOEFL speaking questions. I want to continue by talking about the new score report. It looks a little bit like this. Now, yes, this is the institutional score report, which the university gets, but you're going to get the same one. Now, you might notice that the big difference, and the difference that I really, really hate, is that you're only getting a single speaking score. That's it. Like this student got 22 points. That's different because on the old score report from before August, you'd get that one score, but then on the next page, it would give you assessments for your specific speaking responses. That is, it would give you a level for your independent responses. Like it would say that you were limited, weak, fair, or good. Something like that. And then for questions 3 and 4, it would give you a level as well. But that's been eliminated. So you don't know which speaking questions you were good at and which you were bad at. You're just getting the one overall score for all of them. And it's the same in the writing section, by the way. So for the old score report, you'd get a level for your independent essay and another level for your integrated essay. and you could see which of those two essays was your strongest and which was the weakest. And therefore, you could know how to study most efficiently if you had to take the test again. You're no longer getting that information. That really, really bothers me. Now, I did sit in on a seminar which was led by one of the ETS managing directors, and they have said they did get a lot of complaints about this, and so they've been considering how to address these complaints. So I got my fingers crossed that they're going to undo this decision in the future, but I'm not optimistic. We'll see. I'll make a new video as soon as they make any changes. Next up is a really, really big change about how your speaking score is determined. Now, in the past, your speaking score just came from humans. That is, humans determined what your score was based on the ETS speaking rubrics. However, now, half of your score comes from a human, as usual, and the other half comes from some automated software, which they call SpeechRater. Now, I have been told that the human score and the SpeechRater score have equal value. So the way it works is the human gives you a score, the software gives you a score, and they're averaged together to produce your final result. Now, the human is doing it exactly the same as before by looking at the rubrics and giving you a holistic score. The software, however, is judging you on a variety of categories. Now, I'm not going to bore you too much, but I did go into sort of the documentation and the scholarly articles, and I found out that the SpeechRater is judging you based on these categories. First of all, your speaking rate, that is words per minute. If you have more words per minute or you're speaking faster, your score is going to go up. Your sustained speech, that means if you have long pauses in the middle of your answer, your score is going to go down. Also, if you have and ah pauses, yes, that also brings your score down. You also suffer because of the pause frequency. That is the number of pauses, not just the length, but the number of them. Keep that in mind. Repetitions, as in, personally, I think that pizza is great. So you're going to lose points for that I think. The response length is another thing they consider. That is the total number of words. I have no idea how this is different than the words per minute, but it is a separate category in the documentation. Your rhythm, that is, how you stress the words and how you stress your syllables. We're talking like intonation now. The specific pronunciation of vowels is very important. I think the SpeechRater cares more about how you pronounce vowel sounds than consonants, maybe. But basically, we're talking accent and how easy it is to understand you. Now, in my video last month, I said that the SpeechRater was not going to consider your grammar or your vocabulary. I was wrong. According to ETS, the SpeechRater will judge your grammar and it will judge your vocabulary. How does it do that? I don't know. That seems like some pretty advanced technology. However, according to the documents and according to ETS, yes, it will judge your grammar and it will judge your vocabulary. Finally, the content. That is the accuracy of your details, especially in the integrated speaking questions. According to ETS, yes, they will. However, I did write a maybe here because ETS seemed a little bit ambiguous about this, and I really can't understand how the software could judge the content. So I'm putting a big maybe on my screen. We'll see if I can get more information about that. Anyways, so this is a very big change. It's not on the ETS website. It's not in any of their books. But yes, you are being judged by software in the speaking section of the test. All right, that's all I have to say about the speaking section of the TOEFL. But if you enjoyed this video, I hope you will subscribe because I'm going to update some new videos next week. You can check me out at TOEFLresources.com. That's my website where you can find guides to every section of the test. And you can sign up to have your essays and speaking questions evaluated by me. All right, gonna leave it at that, but take care, guys. I'll see you next week.